Good afternoon, everyone. Model trends are converging. That's what we want to see when we're this close to potential winter storms. Today, I'm going to break down three different models in detail: the American GFS, the European ECMWF, and the Canadian CMC. Compare them side by side, show you where they agree and where they differ, then give you my assessment of which solution is most likely. This video runs 15 minutes. First section is pure model comparison, technical, detailed. Second section translates that into actual impacts, what it means for your location. Third section is the timing breakdown hour by hour for the main event. Let's start with the overnight model runs. All three major global models ran at 0Z. That's midnight UTC, 7 p.m. Eastern yesterday evening. The GFS model run starts valid at midnight last night. Day 1, Saturday the 10th. The warm pattern continues. Temperatures in the 60s and 70s across much of the east. Thunderstorms across the Gulf Coast states and southeast. This is what we are experiencing right now. Nothing surprising. Day 2, Sunday the 11th, Arctic air begins to infiltrate from the north. The 500 millibar heights drop sharply over the northern plains and upper Midwest. At the surface, high pressure builds over central Canada, 1,000 millibars. That is very strong for a surface high. The leading edge of the cold air reaches the Great Lakes by Sunday evening. Temperatures drop from the 50s into the 30s within 6 hours. That's a significant temperature gradient. Day 3, Monday the 12th, the cold air spreads eastward and southward. By Monday evening, the entire eastern United States is under the influence of below normal temperatures. The GFS shows an 850 millibar temperature of -4 Celsius moving into the mid-Atlantic. That's cold enough for all snow if precipitation develops. Day 4 and 5, Tuesday and Wednesday, the 14th and 15th. First system, the GFS develops low pressure over East Texas Monday night, moves it eastward along the Gulf Coast. By Tuesday evening, the low is near Mobile, Alabama. Central pressure 1,008 millibars. Wednesday morning, the low reaches the Florida Panhandle. Then it turns northeast. This is the classic track for a Carolina snow event. The low moves through central South Carolina Wednesday afternoon. Precipitation develops on the northern and western side. The GFS shows the rain-snow line from southern Georgia through central South Carolina into central North Carolina. North and west of that line, all snow. South and east, rain or mix. Snowfall on the GFS for this system. The highest amounts show up in the North Carolina mountains, 12 to 18 inches above 4,000 feet, 8 to 12 inches for the Piedmont of North Carolina. 4 to 8 inches for southern Virginia and far eastern Tennessee. The Carolinas coastal plain sees mostly rain with some mixing. The big cities, Charlotte, Raleigh, stay on the edge. Could go either way. Day 7 and 8, Saturday and Sunday, the 18th and 19th. Second system, the big one. Low pressure develops over Arkansas Friday night. The GFS shows this clearly. Surface low at 1,012 millibars. Weak at first, but the upper level dynamics are impressive. Strong jet streak moving across the southern states, plenty of divergence aloft that lifts air upward, which deepens the surface low. By Saturday morning, the low moves into Tennessee, central pressure down to 1,006 millibars. It is starting to organize. Saturday afternoon, the low reaches the North Carolina-Tennessee border. Precipitation breaks out ahead of it. Initially rain for the coastal areas, snow for the interior. Saturday evening, this is when things get interesting. The low reaches the Carolina coast, begins to rapidly intensify. The GFS shows the pressure dropping from 1,004 millibars at 6 p.m. Saturday to 988 millibars at 6 a.m. Sunday. That's 16 millibars in 12 hours. The storm tracks northeast just offshore from the Outer Banks. Heavy snow develops from northern Virginia northward. By midnight Saturday, it's snowing heavily in Washington, D.C., Baltimore, and Philadelphia. By 6 a.m. Sunday, New York City is getting hit. By noon Sunday, Boston is in the thick of it. The GFS shows the low continuing to deepen. Central pressure reaches 982 millibars off the coast of Maine Sunday afternoon. That's a very strong storm. Snowfall totals on the GFS for this system: Northern Virginia 8 to 14 inches, Maryland and Delaware 10 to 16 inches, Pennsylvania 12 to 20 inches with the highest amounts along the I-81 corridor. New Jersey 10 to 16 inches, New York 12 to 20 inches, Southern New England 14 to 24 inches, Northern New England 16 to 30 inches in favored areas. Wind on the GFS is significant, sustained winds of 30 to 40 miles per hour, gusts to 60 along the coast. That creates blizzard conditions even where snowfall totals aren't extreme. Now the European model, same time period, different solution. The European agrees with the GFS on the overall pattern, cold air moving in, storm systems developing, but the details differ. For the first system, the 14th and 15th, the European tracks the low further offshore. Instead of moving through central South Carolina, the European has it about 100 miles east, near the coast or just offshore. This keeps the heavy snow more confined to the mountains. The Piedmont sees lighter amounts. The European shows 6 to 10 inches for the North Carolina mountains, 2 to 6 inches for the Piedmont. The coastal plain stays mostly rain. For the second system, the 18th and 19th, the European also shows it tracking further east than the GFS. The low still intensifies rapidly. The European has it bottoming out at 976 millibars, even stronger than the GFS. But the track is about 75 miles further offshore. This shifts the heaviest snow slightly inland. The I-95 corridor sees moderate to heavy snow, but not the extreme amounts the GFS shows. European snowfall totals for the 18th-19th system. Northern Virginia, 6 to 12 inches. Maryland and Delaware, 8 to 14 inches. Pennsylvania, 10 to 18 inches. New Jersey, 8 to 14 inches. New York, 10 to 16 inches. Southern New England, 12 to 20 inches. Northern New England, 14 to 26 inches. Still a significant storm on the European, just not quite as extreme as the GFS shows. Wind on the European is similar to the GFS, 30 to 40 sustained, gusts to 60 or higher along the coast. Now the Canadian model, the CMC. The Canadian model often gets overlooked, but it's actually quite good, especially for mid-range forecasts. For the first system, the Canadian splits the difference between the GFS and European. It tracks the low through eastern South Carolina between the other two solutions. Snowfall totals are in between as well, 8 to 14 inches for the mountains, 4 to 8 inches for the Piedmont. For the second system, the Canadian again splits the difference. It tracks the low closer to the coast than the European, but not as close as the GFS. The intensification rate is similar to the other models. Pressure bottoms out around 980 millibars. Canadian snowfall totals for the 18th-19th system. Northern Virginia, 8 to 12 inches. Maryland and Delaware, 10 to 14 inches. Pennsylvania, 12 to 18 inches. New Jersey, 10 to 14 inches. New York, 12 to 18 inches. Southern New England, 14 to 20 inches. Northern New England, 16 to 28 inches. The Canadian wind forecast is slightly lower than the other two models. 25 to 35 sustained, gust to 55. Now my analysis. Which model is most likely correct? For the first system, I lean toward the European solution. Here's why. When you have a system developing over land and moving toward the coast, there's always uncertainty about when it reaches the water and starts intensifying. The GFS has a tendency to bring systems onshore too quickly at this range. The European is usually more conservative, more often right. If the European is correct, the first system is mainly a mountain event. The Piedmont and coastal plains see less impact. That's my current expectation. Could change as we get closer, but that's where I am now. For the second system, I think the truth is somewhere between the GFS and the Canadian. The GFS might be slightly too far west, the European might be slightly too far east, the Canadian threading the needle seems reasonable. If that's correct, we're looking at significant snowfall for the entire I-95 corridor, but maybe not the extreme totals the GFS shows. 10 to 16 inches instead of 16 to 24. Still a major storm, still very disruptive, just not quite historic. The wind forecast, all three models agree this is going to be a windy event. Blizzard conditions likely for many areas. Confidence level on a scale of 1 to 5. Overall pattern, I'm at a 5. This is happening. Cold air, storm systems, significant snow for the eastern United States. No doubt. First system track and intensity, I'm at a 3. Medium confidence, could still shift. Second system occurrence, I'm at a 4.5. Very high confidence this storm happens. The exact track, I'm at a 3.5. Moderately high confidence, but still some uncertainty. Snowfall totals for any specific location, I'm at a 3. The range I gave you is reasonable. But where you fall in that range depends on that final storm track. Now let's translate this into impacts by zone. I'm going to be specific about what I expect where. Zone 1, Deep South, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Southern Georgia, Florida. First system brings rain and thunderstorms Tuesday night into Wednesday. Some storms could be severe. The Storm Prediction Center will likely issue an outlook. Watch for damaging winds and isolated tornadoes. Total rainfall 1 to 3 inches. Locally higher in thunderstorms. Flooding possible in poor drainage areas. After the system passes, temperatures drop. But you are not getting snow. Lows in the 30s and 40s. Wednesday and Thursday nights. Protect sensitive plants. Second system misses you to the north. You might see some rain on the southern fringes Friday or Saturday. Otherwise, just cold air behind it. Zone 2. Southern Appalachians. North Carolina mountains, far southwestern Virginia, eastern Tennessee, northern Georgia, upstate South Carolina. First system, Wednesday into Thursday. This is your primary snow event. High confidence in 6 to 12 inches for elevations above 3,000 feet. Medium confidence in amounts for lower elevations. The exact rain snow line depends on the storm track. If it comes further northwest like the GFS shows, you get more snow at lower elevations. If it stays offshore like the European shows, the snow stays in the mountains. Power outages likely if snow is heavy and wet. Have backup heat and light ready. Stock up on supplies by Tuesday. Second system mainly stays north of you. You might see some light snow Saturday, but the heavy snow is from Virginia northward. Your main impact is the cold air that follows. Overnight lows in the single digits and teens. Protect pipes. Zone 3, Piedmont Carolinas and Eastern Virginia. First system Wednesday. You're right on the edge. This could go either way. If the low tracks like the GFS shows, you get 4 to 8 inches. If it tracks like the European shows, you get 1 to 3 inches with mixing. I lean toward the lighter amounts based on the European. But the GFS can't be ruled out. Monitor forecasts closely Tuesday and Wednesday. Second system, Saturday into Sunday. You're on the southern edge of the heavy snow. Northern Virginia definitely gets hit hard. Central Virginia is borderline. Richmond could see 6 to 12 inches if the track comes far enough west. Could see 2 to 4 inches if it stays offshore. Raleigh and Charlotte are too far south for the second system based on current model guidance. Maybe an inch or two Saturday, but not a major event. Zone 4, Mid-Atlantic, Maryland, Delaware, Southern Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Northern Virginia, New Jersey. First system misses you. Maybe some flurries Wednesday, but nothing significant. Second system, Saturday night into Sunday. High confidence in significant snowfall. The range is 8 to 16 inches for most locations. Higher amounts possible in the mountains and elevated interior areas. This is a major winter storm for this region. Travel will be extremely difficult Saturday night and Sunday. Power outages likely in many areas. Prepare now. Specific cities, Washington, D.C., 10 to 14 inches likely. Baltimore, 10 to 16 inches. Wilmington, Delaware, 8 to 14 inches. Philadelphia, 10 to 16 inches. Atlantic City, 6 to 12 inches with possible mixing near the coast. Wind is a major factor. Sustain 25 to 35, gusts to 50 or higher. Blizzard conditions likely Saturday night into Sunday morning. Zone 5. New York and southern New England. New York City, Long Island, Connecticut, Rhode Island, southeastern Massachusetts. First system misses you entirely. Second system, Sunday. High confidence in significant snowfall. The timing is slightly later for you than areas to the south. Snow starts Sunday morning, continues through Sunday afternoon and evening. Snowfall totals 12 to 20 inches for most areas. The gradient is sharp. Small differences in location mean big differences in totals. New York City, 12 to 18 inches likely. Mixing possible at the onset near the coast, but changing to all snow quickly. Hartford, Connecticut, 14 to 20 inches. Providence, Rhode Island, 12 to 18 inches. Boston, 14 to 20 inches. Wind is significant here too. 30 to 40 sustained. Gusts to 60 along the immediate coast. Blizzard warnings will likely be in effect. Coastal flooding is a concern. Storm surge 2 to 4 feet possible during high tide. North-facing shores most vulnerable. Power outages widespread, could last several days in some areas. Prepare for extended outages. Zone 6, northern New England and upstate New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, Adirondacks, Catskills. Second system, Sunday into Monday. You get the tail end of the coastal storm plus orographic enhancement as the system moves inland. Snowfall totals 16 to 30 inches possible. The highest amounts in favored upslope areas. Mountain locations could see more. This is a major event for this region, but you are more prepared for it than areas to the south. Still, don't underestimate this. Wind might be slightly lower inland, but still strong, 20 to 30 sustained, gusts to 50. After this system passes, lake effect kicks in. Northwest flow over Lake Ontario and Lake Erie. Additional accumulations possible through the end of January. Zone 7. Ohio Valley and interior southeast, Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, northern Alabama. Both systems mostly miss you. You're too far west for the coastal action, too far south for the best lake effect. First system might clip western Kentucky and Tennessee with a few inches Wednesday, not a major event. Second system stays east of you. Maybe some snow showers Saturday night, but nothing significant. Your main story is the cold. Sustained below freezing temperatures from the 15th through the 30th, overnight lows in the single digits and teens. Wind chills below zero at times. Check your heating system. Protect pipes. Prepare for the cold even if you don't get significant snow. Zone 8, Great Lakes, Michigan, Wisconsin, northern Illinois, northern Indiana, northern Ohio. Lake effect snow is your story. It starts after the second system passes. Northwest to north winds over the Great Lakes. Duration is the key. This continues for a week to 10 days. The traditional snow belts could see 2 to 4 feet of accumulation over that period, not all at once, but adding up day after day. If you are in these areas, you know the drill. Keep driveways clear continuously. Don't let it pile up. Multiple clearings are easier than one big job. Timing breakdown for the main event, the 18th, 19th storm. This is for the Mid-Atlantic and New England. Friday, January 17th. Preparation day. This is your last chance to get supplies, fuel up vehicles, charge devices. Don't wait until Saturday. Saturday morning, sky becomes overcast. Clouds thicken from south to north. No precipitation yet, but you can feel it coming. Temperatures drop into the 30s. Saturday afternoon, 2 to 6 p.m. Snow begins in northern Virginia and Maryland. Light at first. Visibility still decent. Temperatures in the low 30s. Saturday evening, 6 p.m. to midnight. Snow intensity increases. Snowfall rates reach 1 to 2 inches per hour. Wind picks up, sustained 20 to 30 miles per hour. Visibility drops. Roads become hazardous. By midnight Saturday, Washington, D.C. and Baltimore have 4 to 8 inches on the ground. Philadelphia is just starting to see heavy snow. New York City seeing light to moderate snow. Sunday morning, midnight to noon, peak intensity for most areas. Snowfall rates 2 to 3 inches per hour. Wind gusts to 50 or 60. Blizzard conditions. Near zero visibility at times. By noon Sunday, Washington, D.C. and Baltimore have 10 to 14 inches. Philadelphia has 8 to 12 inches. New York City has 6 to 10 inches, and it is still snowing heavily. Sunday afternoon, noon to 6 p.m., snow continues for New England, begins to taper for areas south of New York. By 6 p.m., the snow is ending in Maryland and Virginia, still heavy in Boston, and points north. Sunday evening, 6 p.m. to midnight, snow tapers to flurries for most areas. Ends completely by midnight, except far northern New England. Total event duration, 30 to 36 hours from start to finish. Longest duration in New England, shortest in Virginia. After the storm, Monday and Tuesday, cleanup begins. Roads are slowly cleared. Power restoration efforts continue. Temperatures remain cold. No significant warm-up. I want to hear from you. Leave a comment with your city and state. Tell me what you're seeing and what you're most concerned about. I read every single comment. If I see strong interest in a particular area, I'll provide more detailed local coverage. Tomorrow, Saturday, I'll have a final update before the first system. We'll see if the models have trended toward the GFS or European solution. Sunday, I'll post an update focusing entirely on the main storm. Short-range models, hour-by-hour timing, final snowfall forecast. Monday, assuming the first system has passed, I'll have a comprehensive look at the second storm with high-resolution model data. Check weather.gov for your official National Weather Service forecast. They issue the watches and warnings. What I provide is analysis and interpretation to help you understand what's coming. This is real. Multiple models, multiple runs, all showing the same general pattern. Prepare appropriately for your location. Stay informed, stay safe.